chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move to one, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण पद्मा माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinta Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय दिस इज अरविंद दास फ्रॉम शिकागो हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksh Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Kari Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Krishna Padma Mataji, and pranam to you and all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohani Lakshmi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my pranam. My pranams to all the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sundarangi Radha Devidasi from India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sundarangi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Let's move to our next session. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Haridas Thakur Prabhuji for enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 3rd chapter, 10th verse. Before giving call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over to Ayan Prabhuji for giving brief introduction about Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam Hare Ayan Prabhu. Please take over the call whenever you are ready, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Here is a very brief introduction for our today's speaker. His Grace Haridas Thakur Das. Prabhuji is an engineering graduate, currently serving as a vice president at a Swedish multinational company with 28 years of corporate experience. Prabhuji has been practicing Krishna consciousness for the past 22 years. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji regularly conducts Bhagavad Katha Saptahas and serves as a Bhakti Shastra teacher. We are grateful to have Prabhuji here today. Thank you. Over to you.
So much, Prabhu. Krishna. Prabhuji in the call. Don't see him yet. Maybe we can chant a little bit more time. If devotees want to.
Prabhuji is coming, Mataji.
Okay.
Devotees can announce their names.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, all glories Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare 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 Rama
Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Mataji, would you like to start the recording, Mataji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please, thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
for your valuable time and association this morning for enlightening us the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 3rd chapter, 10th verse. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Please, anytime, whenever you are ready, Prabhu, please take over the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all the devotees, please accept my most humble obeisances upon this. I have been told to speak on this verse 11 of chapter 3 of Canto 8. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। We read this verse. सत्त्वेन प्रतिलभ्याय. I think the participant can be unmuted, and if they want, they can follow it. Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu. Is it 10th verse, Prabhu, or 11th verse, Mataji?
सत्त्वेन प्रतिलभ्याय.
तत्त्वेन प्रतिलभ्याय
नैष्कर्मेण विपश्यता.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, did we read the 10th verse, Prabhuji? Today poster says 10th verse.
Oh, I was told about 11.
I don't
Let
know.
me check. Okay, if need be, we can read 10th. Okay, I was told about 11th verse, in fact, by Mataji. So we read 10th, no problem. Or we can read both.
Shama Gauri Mataji, would you like to confirm that?
10th, Prabhuji, 10th.
Okay. नमा आत्म प्रदीपाय
आत्मप्रदीपाय
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
अक्षिणे
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
नमो गिरां विदूराय
नमो गिरं विदुराय
मनश्चेतसामपि
मनीषाचातसमपि
नमा आत्म प्रदीपाय
नम आत्मप्रदीपाय
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
नमो गिरां विदूराय
नमो गिरां विदुराय
मनश्चेतसामपि
मनश्चेतसामपि
नमा आत्म प्रदीपाय
नम आत्मप्रदीपाय
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
साक्षिणे परमात्मने
नमो गिरां विदूराय
नमो गिरां विदुराय
मनश्चेतसामपि.
मनश्चेतसामपि
Some devotees can read.
I offer my respectful obeisances, Atma Pradipaya, unto him who is self-effulgent or who gives enlightenment to the living entities. Sakshin, who is situated in everyone's heart as witness. Paramatmane, unto the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Giram, by words. Viduraya, who is impossible to reach. Manasah, by the mind. Chetasam, or by consciousness. P, even.
Please read translation.
Translation, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Super Soul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul, and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, cannot be understood by the individual soul through mental, physical, or intellectual exercises. It is by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the individual soul is enlightened. Therefore, the Lord is described here as Atma Pradipa. The Lord is like the sun, which illuminates everything and cannot be illuminated by anyone. Therefore, if one is serious about understanding the Supreme, one must receive enlightenment from Him, as instructed in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of the Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers.
Should we read 11th also, Mataji?
Ramagauri Mataji.
Should we read 11th verse also?
Shyamagauri Mataji. Usually we read only one verse, Prabhuji, per day.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. I don't know.
No problem. No problem. That's fine. Then we discuss this only.
Thank you, Prabhu.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोऽभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितान् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये आङ्क्षाकल्पतरुभिश्च कृपा सिन्धुवेव च पितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे So these are Gajendra prayers by Gajendra being offered to the Lord. The history of Gajendra is like this. This Gajendra in his previous life was King Indradum of Pandya kingdom in South India. And he took retirement from household life and went to perform austerities on Malaya hill. When he was absorbed in meditation, says the Agastya happened to pass from there with his disciple group, and he failed to welcome Sage Agastya, and in return, out of anger, Sage Agastya cursed him that you are so lazy that you cannot welcome a sage, you cannot welcome, or you cannot, even get up to welcome a sage like me, and therefore become a lazy person, become a lazy animal, and a dumb animal like elephant. So out of this curse, this king Indradumna, who was actually a Vaishnava king, he became elephant. Now what happened? It is the goodness of the devotion that whatever activities we perform in devotion, these activities, certain things one can retain. As we can see in the case of Jadbharat Maharaj, while he was in the body of the deer, he was able to retain his consciousness. He knew fully well for what reasons he has fallen and being captivated by the body of a deer. And similarly, this king Indradumna, he could remember the prayers which he has learned in his previous life when he was a Vaishnava, even in the body of elephant. One thing that we need to understand that Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Neha Bikram Naso Asti Prathivayo Na Vidyate Swalpamasya Dharmasya Trayate Mehato Bhayat. In this endeavor, or in the endeavor of devotion or performing devotion, there is never any diminution. There is never any loss. Because even a slight act of righteousness may save one from great dangers. And as we can see here, this Gajendra was saved, by those prayers from the clutches of the crocodile. Now, what does this Gajendra represent? This Gajendra represents a conditioned soul who is too attached to his body, family, and his children and wife. It represents a Grahamedi person. And the crocodile represents time, all powerful time, which is representative of Lord himself in the material world, which swallows everything. And a conditioned person who is too attached to his body, to his kins, to his, children, wife, family, everything. Such a person thinks that these are the soldiers who can save him. Deha Patikalatradisu, Atmasyaneshu Asastab, Tesam Pramattu Nidanam, Pasyanapana Pasyati. Sri Sukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj in the very first beginning that Deha Patikalatradisu, a person thinks that his body or his children or his wife or his friends or his distance relationship, they all he thinks can save him from the clutches of death. He thinks that they are the soldiers who can save him. But actually, all these are also being swallowed by, powerful time, which if he want, he can see. If a person becomes enlightened in knowledge, he can see that whatever he thinks to be the soldiers who can save him from the clutches of the, death, which is in the form of the time, which swallows everything, then such a person can understand that all those things like they means body, and apatya means children, and kalatras means wife, etc. A
Hare
person
Krishna.
thinks these are the
Please, my humble obeisances, Prabhu. We are not able to see the screen if you are sharing the screen for it. Just wanted to let you know, Prabhu. We're seeing your personal screen. Sorry, Prabhu.
Okay, I minimize this for a while. I will again start sharing it.
Oh,
What are you
sorry.
seeing as of now?
Your personal screen, Prabhu, with the window.
Okay,
I mean, desktop, Prabhuji, your desktop screen is seen.
okay, okay. Yes. Okay, now.
Now I'm able to see the screen, Prabhu. Thank
Okay,
you, Prabhu.
we will
Sorry,
listen.
Prabhu.
So what happens? A person thinks that his body and his children, his relatives, his wife, his family friends, they can save him. But actually, all of them are being, swallowed by time in the course of time. So this crocodile is representative of powerful time, and Gajendra is actually a conditioned soul who's too attached to the body and to the children and to the family. All this. So since this crocodile even had, taken, or caught hold of the lotus feet of a Vaishnav, that is this Gajendra. So he also was there, liberated by the Lord. Intelligent person actually takes shelter of the Lord, as the Gajendra ultimately took shelter of the Lord finally, and then he was saved, as we can see. So these are the prayers, what is called, Gajendra Moksha prayers, which we recite also for our personal benefit sometimes, as we have known. So this verse particularly says, Namaha Atma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose Atma Pradipaya, that is his self-effulgent super soul. Atma Pradipaya. Sakshine, and who's the eyewitness, whose witness in every verse is heard. Paramatmane, and who is, sitting as a super soul in everybody's heart. Namo Giram Viduraya Manasa Chetasamyapi. And I am offering my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who cannot be reached by, exercise of the mind. Giram Viduraya Manasa Chetasa Api, who cannot be reached by exercise of the mind, words, or consciousness. So, Atma Pradipaya, unto him who is self-effulgent or who gives enlightenment to the living entities. As we have learned so far or heard that this material universe or material creation is actually the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. A spiritual world is a self-illuminated world, while the material world is not self-illuminated. And that's what Lord tells in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, न तद्भास्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावका यद गत्वा निवर्तन्ते तद्धधामं परमम्. Krishna gives information about his abode in Bhagavad Gita, saying that न तद्भास्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावका. My abode is not illuminated by sun, moon, or fire. That means it is self-illuminated. Yad gatva nirvatante tadhamam paramam. My abode, which is absolute in nature, anybody who reaches there, he does not come back. So this information is there in Bhagavad Gita about the abode of the Lord. So actually in material world, we see it is full of darkness. If there is no, sun, then there is no light and heat in the material world. All the light and heat what we see in the material world, it is simply manifestation of the solar energy. And the sun does not have its own light and energy. Sun takes energy from the spiritual world and reflects like a reflector does, from the spiritual world to the material world. Just as a image of sun falls in water, and that image of the sun in water then is reflected in the ball, and that on the then the sun is seen on the ball. First the sun reflected can be seen in the water, then from the water sun reflected can be seen on a surface of the ball. Similarly, the Lord or the Supreme Lord can be seen in various forms in the material world. So the material world is full of darkness because it is dull material world. But the illumination or the heat and the light that we see here, it actually the manifestation of solar energy, and sun, receives this energy from the material world, which is self-effulgent. There is in Bhagavatam, in 4th canto, there is a verse that says, Yat bhrajamanam suracha ev sarvato, lokatrahe anvrajante ete, yatna abrajan jantasu e anangraha, brajante bhadrani charante e anisham. Yat bhrajamanam suracha ev sarvato. By illumination or by the self-illumination of the spiritual planet, sun receives energy from there, and in turn all the three material worlds are actually illuminated by the sun. Yad Brahjamanam, Surucha eva Sarvacho. Surucha means that spiritual abode is self-effulgent. And due to its effulgent, Loka Trey and Brahjante, all these three material worlds, they receive heat and light from there through the agency of the sun. Yet Nabrajan Janta Suyanangraha. Those people who does not show mercy or those who are not compassionate in heart, they cannot reach that spiritual planet. Yetna abrajan jantasu enangraha briyanti bhadrani charanti e anisham. Only those people who are working for the welfare of other living entities can only reach there. From this verse, we can understand that the key to go to the spiritual world is actually show compassion on this. Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers, and Prahlad Maharaj actually when he is talking to his classmates about Krishna consciousness, there Prahlad Maharaj is telling that we should be compassionate to the conditioned living beings in the material world. And There he talks about preaching activity. Prahlad Maharaj says, I am not afraid of this material world at all. I am simply concerned for those people who are simply here, working day and night for sense gratification. नये बदुज्जे परदुत वेतरणिया तुतवीर गायन महामृतन भग्न चित्त सोचे ततो विमुक्चेसा इंद्रिय अर्था माया सुखाय उद्भतो विमूढ़ान प्रायण देव मुनियास मुक्ति कामा मौनम चरंति बिजनेन पराथ निष्ठा नयेतान विहाय कृपणान विमुक्षो योको नान्यम तत शरणम भ्रमता सुपस्थिते. These are the prayers Prahlad Maharaj is, uh, offering to Lord Nrsimhadev. And he's saying, normally it is seen that these sages, they go to the seclusion and they are simply interested in the liberation of the self. But I am not like them. I am concerned for these people who are rotting in the material world just after sense gratification. And I fully well know that they cannot get eternal peace until they take shelter at your lotus feet. So therefore, I am not at all afraid of the material world. I simply want to, you know, I want to work for these people who are rotting in the material world after sense gratification. So this movement of Srila Prabhupada is actually is on the lines of Prahlad Maharaj, who was very much, after what is called preaching. Prabhupada was so much after preaching. You know, initially, as we know, Prabhupada prescribed 64 rounds of chanting. Then, after some time, he heard from the devotees that it's very difficult, Prabhupada, for us to chant 64 rounds. And if at all we will chant 64 rounds, then we cannot go out for preaching and book distribution. Then Prabhupada called all the devotees and asked them, what is your opinion? All of them echoed the same concern. Then Prabhupada said, okay, if not 64, chant 48 rounds. Still that, mark of interrogation was seen uh, on their face, and Prabhupada then felt that they still cannot do so. Then Prabhupada said, if not 48, then chant 32 rounds. And still Prabhupada saw that devotees were not willing to chant 32 rounds because Prabhupada had emphasized so much on preaching. Then finally Prabhupada said 16 rounds, no less than that. And Prabhupada was so emphatic about preaching that he said, at any cost, we have to preach because preaching is the essence. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj even went to the extent of saying that eat meat but preach. Even if you have to go to China, somebody complained that if I go to China, I cannot get vegetarian prasadam or food there. Then how can I preach there? So Prabhupada even said, eat meat but preach. So why there is so much of emphasis on preaching in ISKCON? Because this is the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj. And why what Prahlad Maharaj is saying and what this verse in fourth canto is saying, that only those people who are showing mercy, compassion on other living beings, they can reach the abode of the Lord. So we need to understand that Lord cannot be approached by any of other exercises, be it mental exercises or be the exercises of the intelligence, nothing else, or the words or consciousness, what is being mentioned here. And that's why in the next verse 11, the Gajendra is saying that he can be reached or understood only by simple devotion. Devotion means it is a, act of surrender to the Lord and to the uh, devotee of the Lord, who is called our spiritual master. So this devotion is actually a act of surrender. And when we preach, we actually please our spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada and the Lord. Because Lord Sri Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Ya idam param guhyam mad bhakti suvidhasiti bhakti may param kritva mam ev asasi sansaya न च तस्मान मनुष्येषु कश्चिन में प्रियकृतमा भविता च न तस्मान प्रियतरो भुवि. Lord says, anybody who preaches this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun, nobody is dear to me. Nobody is more dear to me than him. So preaching is so much important for us. And from Bhagavatam also we learn the same thing, that only those people who are showing compassion on the living entities, they can reach the abode of the Lord. Preaching is the essence, Prabhupada says. Books are the veshish. Preaching is the essence, and purity is the force. as we hear. Our sadhana for our personal purification and for the deliverance of the other souls is very important. First factor, our sadhana. Purity is the force, and books are the basis. Our literature is the basis because we have to have some kind of foundation, and our literature is the basis. And preaching is the essence. Why preaching is essence? Because when we preach, it's a kind of selling the product of Krishna consciousness to the common masses. And a salesman, he cannot sell anything without selling to himself. Without being confident, without being sure about his product, one cannot sell a product. So a salesperson first sells the product to himself. So when we preach, that means we become double confirmed, then only we can preach someone. And preaching is more than teaching, as we know. Teaching is theoretical activity, but preaching is something that we teach and also we bring in our own action, in our own life. We practice first and then we tell somebody to follow it. So preaching, Prabhupada says, the essence, because by preaching we become more and more enlightened in the Krishna consciousness. And this is very important for us. So that is the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. So Nama Atma Pradipaya. The Lord Himself is Atma Pradipa, means He is self-effulgent and He gives enlightenment to all the living entities. There's a verse what is called Chetas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yobidadati Kaman. He is the chief among all the conscious beings, all the living beings. So the enlightenment that a soul has, actually, it is the enlightenment that is the Lord has, because he is Atma Pradipaya. The spiritual world is illuminated from the effulgence of the Lord's body. And that is why there is a verse in Isha Upanishad also that says this thing, that, oh my Lord, please remove this effulgence from your body, because of this I am not able to see you. So this effulgence, which is the illumination of the Lord's body, actually this is the energy that sun receives from the spiritual world, and from the sun then everything is happening here. This material world otherwise is inert and dull, inactive. It is made active by it is made active by the Lord Himself, and it is made enlightened by the agency of sun, by the solar energy, as we know. So this energy is coming from the spiritual world. Dakshine, who is situated in every word's heart as witness. Updrashta Anumanta cha Bhakta Bhukta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehe Asmin Pursapura. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, I am sitting in everybody's heart as eyewitness. Updrashta Anumanta, as a permitter. Updrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhukta Maheshwara. As a maintainer, I am sitting in everybody's heart. As a supreme controller, I am sitting in everybody's heart. Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehe Asmin Pursapura. Ishvara Sarvbhutanam Hriday se Arjun Tishtati. O Arjuna, the Supreme Lord sits in everybody's heart as a Paramatma. Brahmyan Sarvbhutani Intaronani Maya. And just like a driver drives a car, the Paramatma who is sitting in everybody's heart, he drives the living beings. He makes them wander in different places, in different universes, everywhere. It is the, and we also hear in Katun Upanishad that there are two words which are sitting on the same tree. Two words are sitting, on the tree of the body. One word is the soul, that is us, and the other word is the super soul, that is the Paramatma. While one word, which actually is proprietor of this body or of this tree, is actually eating the fruits of this tree. But the other word, who is simply a witness, he is simply seeing the other word, eating the fruits of this tree of the body. And this word, who is known to be as a Paramatma or super soul, He is simply witnessing and waiting for this word, which is eating the fruit of the tree, to somehow become favorable to the Paramatma. This Lord, you know, in the form of the super soul, he has so much of patience that we have been wandering in these 8400,000 of species, so many, so many cycles of 8400,000 of species. We have wandered. But the Paramatma feature of the Lord has always been patiently waiting for us. That when this living or conditioned being will turn towards us, so that I can start giving him directions. And actually, those devotees who are taking to Krishna consciousness or to devotion, they are actually the ones who are now turning towards the other world. That's the Paramatma world. And who are now willing to hear. When this happens, then the Paramatma, he manifests in the form of a spiritual master. The spiritual master in the material world is actually the representation of the Paramatma feature of the Lord who is sitting in our heart. So when a conditioned being is not able to hear to the Paramatma who is sitting in our heart, then Paramatma manifests in the form of the spiritual master and first gives him corrections, you know, gives him direct corrections or instructions. And when one becomes disciplined and trained by following these instructions of the spiritual master, then one becomes very close to the Paramatma feature of the Lord who is sitting in our heart. As we transgress the modes of, passion and ignorance and become situated in the mode of goodness, we come closer to the Paramatma. We come closer. And as we come closer to the Paramatma, we are self-guided. So the spiritual master who is manifestation of the Paramatma, he instructs from outside, while the Paramatma who is sitting in our heart, he instructs us from the within. So before we could commit any big thing or any sinful activity, the Paramatma feature, he stops us. He guides us. He instructs us. But, when we become oblivious, or when we do not want to follow such instructions, then he simply, acts as a witness. He's simply seeing and simply starts waiting that when this living entity will become favorable to hearing what I am willing to tell him. Paramatmane, unto the super soul, Nama, I offer my respect for obeisances, Giram by words, Vidurai, who is impossible to reach by the mind or by consciousness. In a Ishopanishad is a word, Tadejati, Tannejati, Tadure, Tadantike, Tadantarasi Sarvasi Tadu Sarvasi Bahata. Tad means the supreme truth. Tadejati, Tad Nejati. He walks, he does not walk. Tadure Tadantike. He is very, very far away from us and he is within us also. Tadantas Sarvasya. Tadu Sarvasya Bahata. He is within everybody and he is out of everybody. Tadejati, Tannejati, Tadure Tadantike, Tadantar Sarvas, Tadu Sarvas Bahata. So he can, there also is the mention that he cannot be reached by, by the words or by the mind or by consciousness even. Prabhupada is writing the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna cannot be understood by the individual soul through mental, physical, or intellectual exercises. Mental exercises means, mental speculation. And physical exercises means yogic exercises. And intellectual exercises also means cultivation of one's own knowledge. And this was Lord Brahma in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Lord Brahma, he wanted to test Krishna's intelligence and he, stole the calves and the, cowherd boys, Krishna's friends. And then when he was frustrated in this endeavor, then when Lord Brahma started offering his prayers to Lord Krishna, there he is saying, Jnane prayasam udupase namantev jivante satamukhartam bhavadi vartam. स्थाने सिता स्तुतिगताम तनुवाक मनोवी ये प्रायस अजित जितो असहित लोक्याम. Brahma ji represent the total intelligence of all the living beings in the material world. And that's why he has four heads. The fact that Brahmaji has 4 heads shows that he is the most intelligent person. And Brahmaji's body is made of knowledge, full of knowledge. Brahmaji can do creation from any part of his body. And even from his shadow, like Karda Muni is born out of shadow of Brahmaji. Such a powerful personality, he became frustrated in his endeavor to test Krishna, and there he's offering obeisance to Krishna, and he's saying, Jnane Prayasam Udapas Namantye. Oh my Lord, I have understood so much only this, up to this time, that only those people who have given up the endeavors of knowledge, that is mental and intellectual exercises. Only those people, Jnane Prasam Udapas, Namantev, and who simply offer obeisances at your lotus feet. Jivanti Satmukhartam Bhavadi Vartam. And they simply maintain their life by the, spiritual narrations which are coming out from your devotees. That is, they simply hear about pastimes of your pastimes, my Lord, from your devotees. Bhavadi Vartam. ज्ञाने प्रयासमुदुपास नमन्ते जीवन्ति सतमुखरिताम भवदी वार्ता स्थाने स्थिता सुतगताम तनुवाक मनोvi. Sthane sthita means one who is not trying to change his material position. Normally in the material world, we see that everybody is engaged in improving his material condition. Everybody. People are even willing to go in the outer space, on the moon or on the Mars, just to improve or enjoy a different lifestyle. So everybody, all the creatures, they are simply 24 hours engaged in just improving the material condition. Nothing else. And there Brahmaji is saying, Sthane Sthita. In whatever situation or state one is, he should be there. In whatever needs, one can maintain his body and soul together. No other, endeavor is required for the material upliftment or advancement. Sthane Sthita. Normally we think that we should go to Vrindavan. Prabhupada, he wandered the whole world 14 times. And even in his last days, he was trying to travel and preach. He did not care like this, I should be living in Vrindavan, should I leave my body anytime? No, he didn't care like this. Because Brahmaji says, Sthane Sita. Wherever you are, just hear about the Lord from the devotees of the Lord. Srutigatam Tanubak Manobi. And Tanubak Manobi, by words, by body, and by intelligence, one must just be offering obeisance to the Lord, and one must be hearing about the Lord from his devotees. One must not try to improve his material condition, and one must give up all the mental and intellectual exercises. That is what is called Jnana Yoga. Jnane Prayasamudupas. Brahmaji, when he says that I cannot or no one can reach you by his own mental and intellectual exercises, that means a person with 4 heads like Brahmaji, person with the super intelligence, if he cannot reach Krishna or understand Krishna, then nobody can. Lord, by this Brahmohan Leela, Lord is simply trying to tell this thing, that this Gyan Yoga is not sufficient in itself for one who wants to understand Krishna or attain Krishna. And that's why, Brahmaji, who is a supremely intelligent person, he got frustrated. By, by stopping the worship of Indra, Sri Krishna is preaching in this incarnation that one should not engage himself in the worship of the demigods. And by Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna is telling that speculative knowledge of what is called Jnana Yoga is not sufficient. So by stopping Indra's worship, he is telling that by Karma Kand he cannot be reached, he cannot be pleased. And by frustrating Brahmaji, he is telling that he cannot be reached by exercises of mind, words, and consciousness. Lord Krishna, in this incarnation, he exhibited everything in practice. And there is a, pastime that the daughter of Vanasur, she fell in love with Aniruddha, who was grandson of Krishna. And somehow this Aniruddha was captivated by Vanasur, and Lord Krishna came with 12 Akshoni, soldiers from Dwarka along with Balram. And there happened a very big war, very big fight between Banasur and Krishna. And the Lord Shiva came from behalf of Banasur to protect Banasur. And there Lord Shiva got defeated. Kartikeya got defeated. So by this pastime, Lord Krishna has showed there is none as powerful as he himself, even Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was just illusioned by the internal potency or Yog Maya of Krishna, just as Brahmaji was illusioned in Brahma Mohan Lila. Because Lord Shiva, he wanted to become a part in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So there he got defeated. So Krishna, in this incarnation is telling that, Karma Kanda, one cannot reach. By Jnana Kanda, one cannot reach him. And one should, if one want to please me, he should not worship the demigods. And there is no powerful. There is no one as powerful or more powerful than me. He defeated even Lord Shiva, who is the most powerful demigod. No? Prabhupada is writing, it is by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the individual soul is enlightened. Yes. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham ma sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate itmatta bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvita. Krishna is saying, I am the cause of all spiritual and material creations. Those intelligent persons who understand me like this, they engage in my devotional service, loving devotional service. And there he says, what? Tesam satyatiktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhyogam tam en mamapyantate. Tesam satyatiktanam. Of those devotees who are continuously engaged in worshipping me in my devotional service, and those who are engaging themselves with love in my devotion. Bhajatam pritipurukam, dadami buddhyogam tam. I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. And then Lord says, Tesamev anukampartham aham ajnanajam tama nasyam atmabhavastu jnana deepin bhashata. Only to show knowledge to them, or only to give them the right enlightenment, Lord says, Tesamev anukampartham aham ajnanajam tama nasyam atmabhavastu jnana deepin bhashata. I destroy the darkness of ignorance in their heart by enlightening them from within, by lighting the lamp of knowledge in their heart. So this is what Prabhupada is writing here. It is by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the individual soul is enlightened. Yes deve para bhakti, yes deve tatha guru, tasyete kachitayartha prakasante mahatmana. There's a verse that says this thing. Anybody who has firm faith in the Lord and the spiritual master, equal faith, one who has faith in the Lord and his spiritual master, equal, not less, not more, equal faith, yatha deve tatha guru, as much in the Lord, so much in the spiritual master. Tasyete katitayartha prakasante matana. To those people, the essence of the purport of the Vedic scriptures is revealed within their heart. So what does it mean? When we engage in devotional service, and when we have taken shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, and when we are engaging in the service of the Lord by engaging in the service of the spiritual master, then actually we get the grace of the Lord, and by such grace, then we become enlightened from within. This is what Prabhupada is saying. Therefore, the Lord is described here as Atma Pradipa. Why Lord is described as Atma Pradipa? Because Lord is self-effulgent and he gives enlightenment to the other living entities also. See, the material world is full of darkness. It is temporary. It is inactive. It is immobile. It is inert. It is matter. But this is made mobile. This is, illuminated. By what? The light that comes from the spiritual world. It is made active by the living beings who are enlightened by the Lord Himself. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita this also. This material manifestation is simply the combination of His para and apara energies, inferior and superior energies. Therefore, the Lord is described here Atma Pradipa. The whole activities what we see in the material world, all this illumination what we see in the material world, this is simply coming from the Lord Himself. Atma Pradipa. As I said, the agency is soul. Agency is solar, sun. So the enlightenment in the material world to see the things by our eyes, it happens by the agency of sun. But the enlightenment for us in the form of the spiritual knowledge, it happens by the Lord through the agency of the spiritual master. And this enlightenment happens in our hearts. This knowledge is revealed in our hearts. Why it is so? There are so many intelligent persons in the material world. And we see them, analyzing the matter so much, so many advanced scientists, all this, but they do not have an interest in spirituality. Why? Because their knowledge is covered. Knowledge is covered by ignorance. Maya Apurat Jnana, Asri Bhavam Asrita. Their actual knowledge has been taken away by the external potency of the Lord, by the illusory energy of the Lord. Maya Apurat Jnana, Asri Bhavam Asrita. And they have taken, they have become like a atheist. Atheist. So, we need to understand that it is by the causeless mercy of the Lord that one can get enlightenment from within. That's why it is said, Asato ma sadgamaya, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. From the Asat means temporary world, move to the permanent world, that is spiritual world. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. From the darkness, go to the, enlightened place. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso means this material world which is full of darkness, and Jyotir means the spiritual world which is full of light. So from the material world, go to the spiritual world. From the temporary world, which is material world, go to the spiritual world, which is permanent. Therefore, the Vedic injunction is Asato ma sadgamaya, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Do not live or remain in the material world. Go to the spiritual world, which is permanent and full of enlightenment. The Lord is like the sun, which illuminates everything and cannot be illuminated by anyone. Sun illuminates everything. And sun cannot be illuminated by anyone. Sun is simply illuminated by the Lord Himself. Yatha prakasati eko krishnam lokam imam ravi. Kshetram kshetri tatha prakasati bharata. This is Bhagavad Gita. The way one sun illuminates the whole creation, similarly one soul creates the body. So similarly the one soul illuminates the body. How? Just as sun's light reaches every part of the globe, similarly the consciousness pervades in the whole body of the living being. Even if we prick a needle in our toe, even then we feel the prick. What does it mean? The consciousness is flowing. The consciousness is pervading in the whole body. It is due to presence of the soul. Yatha prakasati ekam krishnam lokam idam ravi. Kshetram kshetri tatha prakasa. Kshetram means this body. Kshetri means the soul. Illuminates the body. Illuminates the body just like the sun illuminates the whole creation. So the fact that the soul illuminates the body, or the soul enlightens the body, all the consciousness pervades in the body, it is because of the Lord. Chetas Chitnanam, Eko Bahunam, Vidadhati Kamam. Lord is the chief among the all conscious beings. Lord the chief. He is the eternal among the all eternal beings. Chetas Chitnanam, Eko Bahunam, Vidadhati Kamam. He is the one who is maintaining and He is maintaining everyone. Therefore, if one is serious about understanding the Supreme, one must receive enlightenment from him as instructed in Bhagavad Gita. From 10.8 to 10.11 verses, Lord says this thing, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Those people who are intelligent, they engage my devotional service. And he says, to them, I lit the lamp of light so that they can become enlightened from within. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers, as we have understood. So, even in the next verse, the same thing Gajendra is going to repeat, that the Lord can be approached only by devotion, and there is no other means to approach or reach to the. So, this is what we can discuss or talk on this. Now, if you have any comments or questions, you may kindly.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. You have quoted so many verses and in reference to this, and it is about like having all the devotional service, Guru and spiritual master is what mentioned. Thank you, Prabhu. Dear devotees, if you have any questions, please go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask. If you have any reflections, please share. I don't see any raised hands yet.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Haribol.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
I just wanted to give a Dandavat Pranam to Prabhuji. Very nice class with all these ornamental slokas and all that. There's one very nice also from Katha Upanishad. Nayam Atma Pravachane Labhyo Na Medhyana Bahuna Srutena. So when Bhagavan Krishna is pleased with us by our preaching endeavors and serving Sri Prabhupada mission, he definitely will select us and will help us reaching his glories and his service. This little reflection I wanted to share, Mata. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. If anybody has any questions, please go ahead, Prabhuji and Mataji's. If there is any raised hands. I don't see any, Prabhu.
Okay. There are no questions, we can close the session. Yes, Hemangi, Gopeshwari, maybe that's it.
Mataji,
Okay, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Prabhuji. Beautiful, beautiful class. I just wanted to, can you give me the reference for the shloka you quoted that compassion is required, from SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM to get to the spiritual world? Can you give the reference of that shloka, please? Hare Krishna.
Okay. This is in 4th chapter. I need to see exactly my notes. But this is in 4th chapter after Dhruv Maharaj's, pastime. It is actually, you will find that where Dhruv Maharaj is, when Dhruv Maharaj, after taking retirement, and he has gone to Badrika Ashram, and from there, when he is riding in the plane to the spiritual world. So this verse comes after that. Yad bhrajmanam suracha eva sarvato. Lokatray anubrhajante ete. So I do not remember the verse number, but it is there somewhere, actually.
Okay, Prabhuji, I can look it up. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, devotees, if anybody has no other question, we can wind up the class here, please. Thank you so much for being present to hear me.
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
की जय.
Jai.
And
Thank you,
grace
Prabhuji. Very wonderful class.
Jai.
all.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone, for joining today's class. We'll close the call for today.
Thank
Hari
you.
Bol.
Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Hari